The Devourer fleet arrived like a dark storm across the stars. Their ships were massive and black, with surfaces that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. As they approached the asteroid field, the temperature around the human and Zephyrian ships dropped noticeably. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Hope, watching the enemy fleet take positions around them. Beside him, Commander Vextal coordinated with the 12 Zephyrian ships that had answered his call for alliance. "They're not attacking immediately," Officer Kate Brown observed. "Why are they waiting?" "They are studying us," Vextal explained. "The Devourers always examine their prey before consuming it. They want to understand what they are facing." Dr. Lisa Hayes was in the medical bay preparing for the battle ahead. She had never imagined that she would be treating wounded soldiers in the middle of a space battle. But that was exactly what she was about to do. "All medical teams, this is Dr. Hayes," she announced over the communication system. "We will be operating under combat conditions. Human and Zephyrian medical staff will work together in mixed teams. Remember, we are not just treating patients today. We are proving that cooperation is stronger than destruction." The first wave of Devourer attacks came without warning. Beams of dark energy shot out from their ships, hitting both human and Zephyrian vessels. The New Hope shook violently as enemy fire struck its hull. "Medical bay to bridge," Dr. Hayes called. "We're receiving our first casualties. 3 Zephyrian warriors with energy burn injuries." "Acknowledged," Jake replied. "How bad are they?" "Bad, but treatable. The Devourer weapons use a type of energy that burns crystal tissue differently than metal. Dr. Carter is working on treatment. Protocols now." On the Zephyrian command ship, young Zekatal had insisted on joining the battle despite still recovering from surgery. Commander Vextal had tried to convince his offspring to stay in the medical bay, but Zekatal argued that this battle was too important. "I will not hide while others fight for our future," Zekatal had said. Now, as Zekatal commanded a group of Zephyrian fighters, the wisdom of human medical care became clear. Where other wounded Zephyrian commanders would have been unable to fight, Zekatal moved with speed and precision that surprised everyone. "The human medical techniques have made me stronger than I was before my injury," Zekatal reported to Vextal. "I can feel the difference in every movement." The battle quickly became unlike anything either species had experienced before. Instead of each ship fighting alone, the human and Zephyrian vessels worked together in coordinated groups. When Zephyrian ships took damage, they would dock with the New Hope for emergency medical treatment. When human ships needed protection, Zephyrian fighters would form defensive screens around them. "This is working better than I hoped," Engineer Pete Johnson said as he watched Zephyrian and human repair teams working together to fix damaged systems. "Their crystal technology can reinforce our hull breaches, and our electronic systems can boost their weapon power." But the Devourers were adapting to their tactics. The enemy ships began targeting the medical connections between human and Zephyrian vessels, trying to prevent the cooperation that was making their enemy so effective. "They're learning," Vextal warned. "The Devourers have never seen this kind of cooperation before, but they are figuring out how to counter it." That's when Dr. Carter made a discovery that would change the entire battle. "Dr. Hayes, you need to see this," he called from his laboratory. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from Devourer weapons, and I found something incredible." Lisa rushed to the lab where Carter was showing data on his computer screen. "The Devourers use a biological weapon system," he explained. "Their ships are actually living creatures, and their weapons are like organs that produce specific types of energy." "What does that mean for us?" Lisa asked. It means they have biological vulnerabilities. Remember the compounds we developed to help. Zephyrian crystal bones heal faster? Those same compounds are toxic to the Devourer bioweapons. Lisa stared at the data in amazement. Are you saying that our medicine can be used as a weapon against them? Exactly. We can modify our medical sprays to deliver these compounds in high concentrations. It won't kill the Devourer ships, but it should disable their weapon systems. Within an hour, the human and Zephyrian engineering teams had modified their medical delivery systems into something completely new. Healing weapons that could cure allies and disable enemies at the same time. All ships. This is Captain Morrison, Jake announced to the combined fleet. We're about to try something that has never been attempted before. We're going to heal our way to victory. The modified medical ships approached the Devourer fleet not as prey, but as predators of a different kind. Instead of firing energy weapons or missiles, they sprayed clouds of modified medical compounds that had been designed to heal Zephyrian injuries. The effect on the Devourer ships was immediate and dramatic. Their dark, light-absorbing hulls began to change color, turning from black to sickly green. The massive bioweapons that had been firing dark energy beams started to shut down one by one. "It's working!" Kate Brown shouted from her station. "The Devourer weapons are going offline." But the victory came with a cost. The Devourer ships, realizing they were being defeated, began ramming attacks against the human and Zephyrian vessels. Several ships on both sides took severe damage. "Medical teams to emergency stations," Dr. Hayes announced. "We have mass casualties incoming." The medical bay of the New Hope became a scene of controlled chaos as human and Zephyrian medical staff worked together to save lives from both species. Nurse Amy Rodriguez found herself performing emergency surgery on a Zephyrian pilot, while Dr. Carter treated human engineers who had been caught in an explosion. The most critical moment came when Commander Vextal's ship took a direct hit from a ramming attack. The Zephyrian commander was badly injured and needed immediate medical attention. "Bring him to the New Hope," Dr. Hayes ordered. "We have the best facilities for treating severe crystal fracture injuries." As Vextal was carried into the human medical bay, he looked around at the humans and Zephyrians working side by side to save lives. Despite his pain, his crystal skin showed the golden color of deep honor. "Dr. Hayes," he said weakly, "you have shown us that the universe does not have to be divided between predators and prey. There can be healers, too." The battle ended not with destruction, but with retreat. The Devourer fleet, unable to use their bioweapons effectively against the modified medical compounds, withdrew from the asteroid field. For the first time in their expansion across the galaxy, they had been stopped not by superior firepower, but by superior compassion. In the aftermath of the battle, representatives from both human and Zephyrian governments arrived to understand what had happened. They found something unprecedented: two species that had become allies through medical cooperation rather than military conquest. "We propose the formation of a permanent human-Zephyrian medical alliance," Captain Morrison told the assembled representatives. "Our ships will operate together, with human medical expertise and Zephyrian technology working in partnership." Dr. Hayes was promoted to Chief of Xenomedicine and put in charge of developing medical protocols for treating multiple alien species. Commander Vextal became the first non-human officer to serve in a joint command structure. The New Hope became the flagship of a new kind of fleet, where hospital ships and battleships served as equal partners. Other alien species, having heard about the defeat of the Devourers through cooperation rather than conquest, began requesting their own medical alliances with the human-Zephyrian partnership. 6 months later, Captain Morrison sent his final report to Earth Command. Mission accomplished. We came to answer a distress call and ended up preventing a war. We have learned that humanity's greatest weapon is not our technology or our tactics. It is our willingness to heal even those who have tried to harm us. The galaxy would never be the same. Where once there had been only predators and prey, now there were healers. And at the center of it all was the new hope. Proving every day that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is choose to save a life instead of taking one. The story of the ship that braced for humanity's fury and instead healed their wounded had become legend, told on 1,000 worlds as proof that cooperation was stronger than conquest and healing more powerful than harm. Officer Kate Brown was monitoring the long-range sensors when she saw something that made her blood turn cold. Hundreds of ships were moving toward their position, and they were moving fast. "Captain Morrison to the bridge immediately," she announced, over the ship's communication system. Jake arrived within minutes, followed by Dr. Hayes and Commander Vextail. The alien commander had been spending most of his time on the human ship, learning about their medical techniques. "What do you see?" "Kate?" Jake asked. "A massive fleet, sir. At least 300 ships, maybe more. They'll reach us in 6 hours. Vextal looked at the sensor readings, and his crystal skin immediately turned dark red with fear. "Devourers," he whispered. "They found us." "The same species that attacked your offspring's ship?" Dr. Hayes asked. "Yes, but much worse. This is a full invasion fleet." Vextal's voice shook as he spoke. "Dr. Hayes, you have seen our warriors and our weapons. We are not a weak species. But the Devourers are something else entirely." Jake studied the approaching fleet on the main screen. The ships were enormous, much larger than either human or Zephyrian vessels. They moved in perfect formation like a school of deadly fish. "Tell us about them," Jake said. Vextal sat down, heavily in one of the bridge chairs. "The Devourers are not like us. They do not think as individuals. They share one mind, one purpose. They consume everything on the worlds they conquer. Plants, animals, even the soil itself. When they are finished, nothing remains but empty rocks floating in space." "How many worlds have they destroyed?" Dr. Hayes asked. "Dozens, maybe hundreds. My home system was one of the first they attacked. We managed to escape with some of our people, but millions died." Vextal's skin color shifted to a deep purple. That meant great sadness. Captain Morrison's communication system beeped with an incoming message from Earth Command. Admiral Kate Sullivan's face appeared on the screen, and she looked very serious. "Captain Morrison, we have detected a large alien fleet entering human space. All medical ships are ordered to return to Earth immediately for evacuation duties. You have 12 hours to reach the safety perimeter." Jake looked at the approaching Devourer fleet, then at his Zephyrian patients who were still recovering from their injuries. Many of them could not be moved safely. "Admiral, we have wounded alien patients aboard who cannot survive transport at this time. We also have valuable intelligence about the approaching enemy fleet. Captain, your orders are clear. Abandon any non-essential personnel and return to Earth immediately. That's a direct order." The communication ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Everyone understood the terrible choice that Jake faced: follow orders and abandon the Zephyrians who had become their friends, or stay and risk the lives of his entire crew. "You must go," Vextal said quietly. "Your own people need you. We understand." "How can we abandon you now?" Dr. Hayes said angrily. After everything we've been through together? Because it is the smart thing to do, Vextal replied. The Devourers will destroy us anyway. At least this way, humans will survive to fight another day. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. These people had volunteered for dangerous medical missions, but this was beyond anything they had signed up for. He had no right to make this decision for them. All senior staff to the conference room, Jake announced. We need to discuss our options. 20 minutes later, the senior officers of the New Hope gathered around the conference table. Dr. Hayes, Dr. Carter, Engineer Pete Johnson, Nurse Amy Rodriguez, and Officer Kate Brown all listened as Jake explained the situation. We can follow our orders and try to reach Earth in time to help with evacuation efforts, Jake said. Or we can stay here and continue treating our patients while trying to help the Zephyrians fight off the Devourer attack. How many Zephyrian patients can't be moved? Dr. Carter asked. At least 15, Dr. Hayes replied, including Zekatal, who would definitely die if we tried to transport them now. And how many crew members do we have aboard the New Hope? Jake asked. 47, Kate answered. So we're talking about risking 47 human lives to save 15 alien lives, Pete said, plus however many other Zephyrians are in the area. The room fell silent as everyone considered the choice. Finally, Amy Rodriguez spoke up. I didn't. Join the medical service to choose which lives are worth saving based on what species they belong to, she said. If we leave now, we're saying that human lives are more important than Zephyrian lives. But if we stay, we might all die, Kate pointed out. And then we can't help anyone. Dr. Hayes stood up and walked to the window that looked out into space. She could see the Zephyrian ship docked with theirs, and she thought about all the patients they had treated over the past few days. I've been thinking about something Vextal told me, she said. He said that before they met us, the Zephyrians thought the universe was divided into predators and prey. You either consumed others or you were consumed. And now, Jake asked, now, they've seen that there's a third option. You can choose to heal instead of harm. But if we abandon them now, we're proving that humans are just another predator species. We only help others when it's convenient for us. Dr. Carter nodded in agreement. From a scientific standpoint, we're also abandoning the greatest medical breakthrough in human history. The techniques we've developed for treating Zephyrian physiology could revolutionize medicine for both species. Jake looked around the table at his officers. I need to know how everyone feels about this. If we stay, there's a good chance we'll all die. If we go, we'll be safe, but we'll be abandoning our patients and our principles. One by one, each officer voted. Dr. Hayes voted to stay. Dr. Carter voted to stay. Amy Rodriguez voted to stay. Pete Johnson thought for a long time, then voted to stay. Officer Kate Brown was the last to vote. This is probably the stupidest decision I'll ever make, she said. But I vote to stay too. Jake felt both pride and terror at his crew's decision. Then it's unanimous. We stay and fight. When they told Vextal about their decision, the Zephyrian commander's crystal skin changed through several colors before settling on a bright gold that they had never seen before. What does that color mean? Dr. Hayes asked. It means honor beyond words, Vextal replied, his voice filled with emotion. You are risking everything for people who are not even your own species. This is something our legends speak of, but we never believed actually existed. What legends? Jake asked. Stories of a species that would appear in the galaxy's darkest hour and show others a new way to live. A species that healed instead of harmed, that built instead of destroyed. Vextal paused. We always thought they were just stories meant to give hope to children. Commander Vextal immediately contacted other Zephyrian ships in the area, requesting emergency assistance. But instead of asking for military support, he requested something unprecedented: an alliance with the humans based on medical cooperation. The Devourers have never faced an enemy that heals its wounded in the middle of battle, Vexatal explained. If we can combine Zephyrian weapons with human medical support, we might have a chance. As the Devourer fleet approached, the crew of the New Hope prepared for the most important battle of their lives. They would fight not with weapons, but with medicine, proving that sometimes the greatest courage comes from choosing to heal instead of harm. 3 days had passed since the humans first boarded the alien ship. The emergency medical work had turned into something much bigger. Dr. Lisa Hayes found herself running a combined human-alien medical center that operated between both ships. The May. "Crystal Bone is healing much faster than I expected," Dr. Carter said as he examined the young alien named Telwix. The universal translator had been working better each day, making communication easier. Telwix made the soft sounds that meant "thank you" in the Zephyrian language. Lisa had learned that the aliens called themselves Zephyrians, and they came from a star system far away. Commander Vextal entered the medical area where Lisa was working. Over the past few days, he had changed from a suspicious enemy into something closer to a friend. He no longer made threatening gestures when humans approached his crew. "Dr. Hayes," Vextal said through the translator, "my medical officer Kithra wants to show you something important." Lisa followed Vextal to another part of the ship where the Zephyrian medical officer was waiting. Kithra was smaller than most Zephyrians, with crystal skin that was lighter purple than the others. "Our healing methods are very different from yours," Kithra explained. "We use pain to make the body stronger. The more pain a Zephyrian can handle, the more respected they are in our society." Lisa watched as Kithra demonstrated their traditional healing techniques. Instead of trying to stop pain, they seemed to encourage it. Warriors would press hot metal against their wounds to create scars that showed their bravery. "That's why. My crew was confused when you tried to help them," Vextal added. "In our culture, accepting help with pain is seen as weakness. We thought you were trying to make us weak so you could defeat us easier." "But you don't think that anymore?" Lisa asked. Vextal's crystal skin changed to a lighter color, which Lisa had learned meant he was feeling calm or happy. "No. We have seen that your medicine makes us stronger, not weaker. Telwix can move his arm again because of your treatment. In our old ways, he would have been crippled forever." Meanwhile, on the New Hope, Engineer Pete Johnson was working with a Zephyrian technician named Karoth to repair both ships. The language barrier had been a problem at first, but they found that mechanical problems were the same no matter what species you were. "Your power systems are very advanced," Pete said as he watched Karoth work on a broken energy conduit. "This crystal technology could solve a lot of our energy problems." Karoth made sounds that the translator interpreted as laughter. "And your repair methods are much gentler than ours. We usually just break the broken part completely and replace it. You humans try to fix everything." Captain Jake Morrison had been dividing his time between both ships, learning about Zephyrian culture and sharing human customs. He discovered that Zephyrians were not naturally violent. They had been forced to become warriors because of threats to their home world. "Our sun is dying," Vextal explained during one of their talks. "We have been looking for new places for our people to live, but everywhere we go we find other species who try to stop us. So you attack first to protect yourselves," Jake said, understanding the situation better. "Yes. It has been the only way to survive. until now. The real test of their growing friendship came when long-range sensors detected another ship approaching, the asteroid field. Both human and Zephyrian crews prepared for the worst. "It's another Zephyrian ship," reported Officer Kate Brown. "They're trying to contact Commander Vexital." Vextal spoke with the approaching ship for several minutes. When the conversation ended, his crystal skin had turned a dark red color that meant he was very worried. "What's wrong?" Jake asked. "The approaching ship is commanded by my offspring, Zektal," Vextal explained. "They were following us to provide support if we needed it, but their ship was attacked by our enemies, the Devourers. Zektal is badly wounded." Dr. Hayes immediately prepared for another patient, but this case would be different. When Zektal's ship docked with them, they found that the young Zephyrian commander had suffered internal injuries that were beyond anything they had treated before. "The crystal structures inside the body are broken in many places," Dr. Carter explained after scanning the patient. "It's like having broken glass inside your chest. Every time Zektal breathes, the broken pieces cause more damage." "Can you save them?" Vextal asked. The fear in his voice was clear even through the translator. Lisa looked at the scans and realized this would require surgery unlike anything ever attempted. They would need to operate inside a Zephyrian body using techniques that had never been tried before. "We'll need help from your medical officer," Lisa told Vextal. "Kithra knows Zephyrian anatomy better than we do." Dr. Ben Clark, the ship's surgeon, had been studying Zephyrian biology for the past 3 days. "I think I can do it," he said, "but it will take many hours, and there's no guarantee of success." The surgery became a joint effort between human and Zephyrian medical teams. Dr. Clark led the operation while Kithra guided him through the complex crystal structure of Zephyrian internal organs. Dr. Hayes monitored the patient's vital signs, which were very different from human vital signs. During the 18-hour surgery, something remarkable happened. Human and Zephyrian medical staff worked side by side, sharing knowledge and techniques. Language barriers disappeared as they focused on saving a life together. Nurse Amy Rodriguez found herself working directly with Zephyrian medical assistants, developing new ways to handle crystal-based injuries. Engineer Pete and Quarath modified human surgical tools to work better with Zephyrian physiology. "We're not just saving one life," Dr. Hayes realized during the operation. "We're creating an entirely new form of medicine." As the surgery continued, both crews shared stories about their homes and families. The Zephyrians talked about their beautiful crystal cities and the sadness of watching their sun grow dim. The humans described Earth's blue skies and green forests. "Your world sounds like paradise," Kithra said during a break in the surgery. "It is," Amy replied, "and maybe someday your people can see it for themselves." When the surgery finally ended, Zektal was alive but would need weeks of recovery. The operation had been successful, but more importantly, it had created bonds between the two species that went far beyond simple cooperation. "You have given me back my offspring," Vextal told the human medical team. "In Zephyrian culture, this means you are now part of our family." Captain Morrison realized that something unprecedented had happened. They had not just made first contact with an alien species. They had turned enemies into family through the simple act of healing. But their celebrations were cut short when long-range sensors detected something that would test their new alliance in ways none of them could imagine. Dr. Lisa Hayes put on her spacesuit and checked her medical equipment one more time. She had never treated alien patients before, but she knew the basics would be the same. Stop bleeding, keep them breathing, and figure out the rest as you go. Remember, Dr. Carter said over the radio, we have no idea what their biology is like. Don't touch anything with your bare hands. We don't know if they're poisonous or if we might be poisonous to them. Lisa nodded as she floated across the empty space between the two ships. The alien vessel looked even more damaged up close. Holes were torn in its metal hull, and strange purple liquid was floating in space around it. That might be their blood, Alex said when he saw it. Nurse Amy Rodriguez followed behind Lisa, carrying extra medical supplies. She was nervous, but excited. Do you think they'll understand that we're here to help? She asked. Let's hope so, Lisa replied. They entered the alien ship through a large hole in its side. Inside, the air was thick and hard to breathe, even through their suits. Strange lights flickered on and off, and they could hear sounds like metal bending and breaking. Hurry! First alien they saw was lying on the floor near what looked like a control station. It was about the same size as a human, but very different. Its skin looked like dark crystal, and instead of hair, it had sharp spikes coming out of its head. Purple blood was leaking from several cuts on its body. Amazing, Lisa whispered. She had dreamed of this moment her whole life. The alien opened its eyes when it heard her voice. The eyes were bright yellow and seemed to glow in the dark. It tried to say something, but the sounds were like nothing Lisa had ever heard before. It's trying to communicate, Amy said. Lisa slowly held up her hands to show she had no weapons. Then she pointed to her medical kit, and then to the alien's wounds. She hoped it would understand that she wanted to help. The alien looked confused and scared. It tried to move away from her, but it was too weak. More purple blood leaked from its cuts as it struggled. Easy, Lisa said in a soft voice. We're here to help. Other aliens started appearing from deeper inside the ship. Most of them were hurt, but some could still walk. They formed a circle around Lisa and Amy, making threatening sounds. Their crystal-like skin seemed to change color when they were angry, turning from dark purple to bright red. One alien that seemed to be their leader stepped forward. It was bigger than the others and had more spikes on its head. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rough like rocks grinding together. Think that's their commander, Amy whispered. The alien commander pointed at Lisa and made more rough sounds. It didn't sound friendly. Doc, Lisa said into her radio, we need the universal translator working now. Back on the New Hope, the ship's computer was already working on the alien language. Give me 5 more minutes, came the reply from the computer system they called Doc. Suddenly, one of the wounded aliens started shaking violently. Purple blood was pouring out of a large wound in its chest. Lisa knew that if she didn't act fast, the alien would die. She moved toward the wounded alien, but the commander stepped in her way. It made more angry sounds and showed what looked like sharp teeth. Lisa looked directly into the commander's glowing eyes. She held up her medical scanner and pointed it at the dying alien. The scanner beeped and showed that the alien's heartbeat was getting weaker. Please, Lisa said, even though she knew it couldn't understand her words. Let me help. The commander hesitated. It looked at its dying crew member, then back at Lisa. Finally, it stepped aside. Lisa knelt down next to the wounded alien. She had no idea how its body worked, but she could see that it was losing too much blood. She pulled out a special foam that was designed to stop bleeding in humans. She hoped it would work on aliens, too. When she sprayed the foam on the alien's wound, something amazing happened. The foam turned purple, the same color as the alien's blood, and the bleeding stopped. The alien's breathing became stronger. The other aliens started making different sounds. Instead of angry growling, they seemed surprised and maybe even hopeful. "It's working," Amy said with excitement. Dr. Carter's voice came over the radio. "Lisa, I'm reading the aliens' biology through your scanner. Their blood is based on a metal called chromium instead of iron like ours. That's why it's purple." "What does that mean for treatment?" Lisa asked as she continued working on the patient. "It means our blood clotting foam should work perfectly. But be careful with anything that has iron in it. It might be poisonous to them." Lisa spent the next hour moving from one wounded alien to another. Each patient taught her something new about their biology. Their bones were made of crystal-like material that could crack but would heal if held in the right position. Their muscles worked differently than human muscles, but they responded to the same kind of pain medication. The alien commander, who they learned was named Vextal, watched everything Lisa did. At first, he seemed suspicious and ready to attack if she made any wrong moves. But as he saw his crew members getting better, his attitude began to change. The breakthrough came when a young alien was brought to Lisa. This one was badly hurt with crystal bones broken in several places. Lisa had never seen injuries like this before. "Amy, hold this piece of crystal bone in place while I figure out how to fix it," Lisa said. As they worked together, the young alien looked up at them with its glowing eyes. It made soft sounds that were very different from the angry growling they had heard before. "Doc, are you getting this?" Lisa asked. "Yes," the computer replied. "I think it's saying thank you. The young alien is expressing gratitude." When Vextail heard this, his whole attitude changed. The red color faded from his crystal skin, and it returned to purple. He made new sounds toward Lisa. "He's asking why you're helping them," Doc translated. "He wants to know what you want in return." Lisa looked up at the alien commander. She wished she could explain about human medicine and the idea that all life was precious. Instead, she just smiled and went back to treating the young alien. For the first time since they had arrived, Vextal made sounds that weren't angry or suspicious. According to Doc's translation, he said something that would change everything. "These humans are not like any enemy we have ever known." As Lisa continued treating the wounded aliens, she had no idea that her actions were being watched by other alien ships hidden throughout the asteroid field. News of the strange humans who healed their enemies would soon spread throughout the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Hope and watched the stars through the main window. His ship was not like other ships in space. It had no big guns or thick armor. Instead, it carried doctors, nurses, and medical supplies. The New Hope was a hospital ship, built to save lives instead of taking them. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Officer Kate Brown from her station. She looked worried as she read the message on her screen. "It's a distress call from the asteroid field ahead." Jake walked over to look at the message. The words were simple but urgent. "Ship damaged. Crew dying. Need help now." The signal came from somewhere deep in the Kepler 442 asteroid field, where huge rocks floated in space like a giant maze. "Any idea who sent it?" Jake asked. Kate shook her head. "The signal is strange. It doesn't match any human ship patterns. Could be aliens." Dr. Lisa Hayes entered the bridge at that moment. She was the chief medical officer and had been working in the medical bay when the alert came through. "Did someone say aliens?" she asked with excitement in her voice. Lisa had always hoped to meet other life forms in space. "We got a distress call," Jake explained. "Could be from an alien ship. They say they have wounded crew members." Dr. Alex Carter appeared behind Lisa. He was younger than most doctors on the ship, but very smart about different kinds of life. If they're really aliens, their bodies might be completely different from ours, he said. We might not know how to help them. Jake thought for a moment. The asteroid field was dangerous. Big rocks moved around unpredictably, and ships could easily get crushed. But the New Hope had been built to answer distress calls, no matter where they came from. We're going in, Jake decided. But stay alert, everyone. We don't know what we're walking into. The New Hope moved slowly into the asteroid field. Pilot. Sam Davis had to be very careful to avoid the floating rocks. Some were as big as buildings, others as small as cars. They all moved in different directions, making navigation very difficult. Signal is getting stronger, Kate reported. We should see the ship soon. After 30 minutes of careful flying, they found it. The alien ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. It looked like it was made of dark metal with strange curves and sharp edges. Parts of it glowed with a purple light that pulsed like a heartbeat. It's beautiful, Lisa whispered. And dangerous, added Sam. Look at those weapon ports. This thing is built for fighting. Jake studied the alien ship carefully. It was much smaller than the New Hope, but looked much more deadly. Why would a warship be sending out distress calls? He wondered out loud. Suddenly, alarms started ringing all over the bridge. Captain, Kate shouted. They're powering up weapons. The alien ship turned toward them and bright lights started glowing along its hull. But then something strange happened. Sparks flew from the alien weapons and the lights went out. The ship seemed to shake and spin out of control. Their weapons failed, Sam said with relief. Something's wrong with their systems. But the relief didn't last long. The failed weapons had caused both ships to get caught in the gravity of a huge asteroid. Both the New Hope and the alien ship started falling toward the massive rock. Emergency engines! Jake ordered. Sam tried to pull the ship away, but it was too late. The New Hope crashed into the asteroid with a loud bang. Emergency lights came on as the main power failed. In the distance, they could see the alien ship had also crashed. Damage report, Jake called out as he picked himself up from the floor. Hull breach in Section 7, reported Chief Engineer Pete Johnson over the radio. We're losing air fast, and the aliens. Their ship looks worse than ours. Through the cracked window, they could see the alien ship. Smoke was coming out of several holes in its hull. Parts of it were completely crushed. If there were living beings inside, they were probably hurt very badly. Sir, Dr. Hayes said quietly, if there are survivors on that ship, they won't live long without help. Jake looked at his crew. These people had signed up to save lives, not to fight wars. The alien ship had tried to attack them, but now its crew was dying. What should they do? Dr. Carter, Jake said. How long before their life support fails completely? Alex checked his instruments. Based on the damage I can see, maybe 2 hours, 3 at most. And how long before we can repair our own ship and leave? Pete's voice came over the radio again. At least 6 hours, Captain. Maybe more. Jake made his decision. Dr. Hayes, get your medical team ready. We're going over there. Sir? Kate looked surprised. They just tried to kill us. And now they're dying, Jake replied. We're a hospital ship. We don't choose who we save based on who they are or what they've done. We save everyone we can. Lisa smiled. This was why she had joined the crew of the New Hope. I'll get the emergency. Medical kits ready? She said. As the crew prepared for their rescue mission, none of them knew they were about to make first contact with an alien species. They also didn't know that this moment would change everything, not just for them, but for all of humanity and for the galaxy itself. The New Hope had come to answer a distress call, but they had found something much more important than they ever imagined.